And hello.
And go.
Hi, hello, how are you?
I'm very well, thank you. How are you?
I'm very, very well, thank you. You know the truth. I'm hanging on, guys. No, I'm good. I'm really, really well this morning. Do you want to tell us who you are and what is it that you do?
Yes, my name is Amaka Okafor. I'm an actor, single mom,
Yeah.
crazy person.
All required elements in our jobs. The craziness is is it craziness or just free spirited? We get to play a lot.
Yeah,
You know?
I actually don't think I'm a crazy person. I just feel like I'm managing a lot. And so when you feel, sometimes you feel like sort of it's kind of noisy inside your head.
Yeah.
So it's not that I'm crazy, it's that I'm like, oh, mustn't forget that, need to do this. Oh, do I need to, I've done that. Cool, I did that.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, that's actually a really great way in which you've described it, because that's what it feels like for me. And I'd never thought to frame it like that. It does feel like it's just gotten noisier in my head. So I'm mum to a now 2-year-old, and it's been amazing. That is super early, and everything is amazing and exciting and wonderful, and long may it continue. But that's a great way to describe it. Like it is quite noisy.
It's really moment to moment as well when you're that sort of age as well, isn't it?
Yeah. So much fun. Amazing seeing her change and improve and develop her vocabulary, all that kinds of stuff. Nothing is ever the same. Right now, we're going through a stint where she's waking up. So her name's Zena. Zena is waking up randomly between 1 and 3, just up. She might be, she wants to eat, she wants to do this, but it's just reasons to stay up even longer. But she's just up.
What does she do? Does she come up? Does she come and get you?
No, she'll come up. We're co-sleeping at the moment. Wake up. Mummy, why? Why questions? Why? Just chat. Yeah. And then wants to read, maybe, then wants to have some food. Then about an hour and a half later, goes back down, knocked out like it never happened. Okay. And it's like, okay, so that's the new. So
and what time is she sleeping to?
So she's awesome. She might go down, say 7:30, 8ish. Bar this wake up in the middle. She'll wake up maybe about 9:30ish.
Great.
Just amazing. Just her little thing at the minute. So yeah, moment to moment. Nothing's ever the same.
Yeah, and for me, it feels like as soon as I get my head around the new thing, she shifts into a new thing.
Even now?
Yeah.
Oh gosh, okay, never ends. Okay, got it.
Yeah, but it's okay because we can talk about it.
Yeah, okay. That must be
the moment that they become able to reason. Two things: as soon as they're able to reason, and also understand delayed gratification, life changes. The moment they understand it's a no right now, but it's not a no forever. Yeah, I'm gonna say yes to this at 7 o'clock this evening, or you can have this, but not yet. As soon as that they can understand that, life gets so much easier.
Oh, wow. Okay. When does that happen?
You're not far off it, I'd say.
Yes. Okay. Yeah.
I'd say, yeah.
How old is your little one?
She's 10.
Wow. Yeah. What is life like with a 10-year-old? How are you finding that?
She's the best thing.
Yeah.
She's the best thing I've ever done.
Yeah.
Like puberty is definitely knocking on the door. Like it's here, really.
Oh, wow.
It's actually here. I don't know why I'm saying it's knocking on the door.
Yeah.
And it's emotionally, it's really. She's always been quite emotional, but I am.
Okay. Yeah.
So she didn't have a hope in hell. Like she's full. But she's really frigging funny and really witty and like harsh, but also soft. Like she's all the things.
Yeah.
It means that when she, like, I'm trying to find language that isn't negative, but she'll just go into a mood. Okay. If I need to tell her off, basically, not even a harsh telling off. If I'm like telling her a thing that she knows she needs to do and I'm saying it, she'll like go, like turn away and go sink into this place. Yeah. And I've been really struggling with how to manage that. Yeah. And she sort of lashes out at me for if there's anything that's difficult, I'm the person that's getting clobbered, basically. Yeah. And I know this is not about me and I need to let it happen. But also there's a really small threshold where it becomes rudeness and bad behavior. Yeah. So being able to tell moment to moment when to let it go, when to go, don't talk to me like that, is really hard. especially when you're on your own and you don't have that person. Like, the thing I really crave is somebody to go, don't talk to your mum like that.
Got you.
Don't speak to your mum like that.
Yeah.
I feel like there are times when I'm like, I am getting clobbered here.
Yeah.
And I feel like the other day me and my best mate, we voice note each other every day.
Yeah.
And there was one morning where it'd been a particularly difficult morning between me. Like, this morning was glorious. It was like everything went right. And we were early. It was amazing.
Yeah.
We were joking. We had a time to do a Just Dance in the morning.
Love it.
Together.
Perfect.
Anyway, the other morning wasn't so great, and I was responding to a voice note that my best mate had left, and I found myself just crying into the phone because I just needed that release.
Yeah.
And you sort of need that. We have a really lovely life. I love our little flat. I'm really happy. I sometimes feel like the thing that I miss is having somebody, like, once I put her to bed, come and sit on the sofa and be like, this thing happened today. Yeah. This is how I dealt with it. I'm not sure I did the right thing. Yeah. And to have somebody who is as invested in your kid as you are. Yeah. To be like, actually, you're doing good. Yeah. Or to be like, oh, actually, she did the same thing on Tuesday. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. But I'm also like, I've sort of been given myself in a child. So I sort of see her and I'm like, okay, I know what you're doing. Okay. And have to just ride it. Yeah. And it's amazing because you know what she's doing because she is you, elements of you. So at least you have that cheat sheet already. And I guess now you have to find a 10-year-old way of saying that to her, if that makes sense. That's terrible English. But you know what I mean? Yeah, way of her being able to access what you're trying to say and what you're trying to do. So it's good that you already have that information innately. It's just being able to share it. Yeah. Yeah. That's intense. No, you're very well. Yeah, it is intense. Sorry. Yeah, no, I am also quite intense. So is she. Come out for dinner. I'll be there. Not a problem at all. No, and even with what you said, just having that person to decompress with, or just to hold you up or remind you of certain things. I understand that. It's motherhood is lonely. That's one thing I didn't know, or I didn't anticipate. I didn't realize the loneliness of it. And I think, regardless, or having spoken to women who are with partners or without, everyone has that loneliness that can sometimes be really difficult to articulate, because you definitely could be in a room with someone or with people, but it's still quite, no one's going to understand that feeling or that difficulty or that push and pull. Other mothers do, which is amazing. It's phenomenal that we really are going through exactly the same thing. So there's this amazing sense of connectedness and community. I don't know how long it lasts for, but right now it's there, which is great. And that's amazing. But the loneliness side of it, I didn't anticipate, like, at all. That was really trippy. And I say that because a lot of elders, I don't know what it's like in your space, but a lot of elders can be like, pre-me having a kid, when you're having a baby, it's not hard, it's not this. My mom's like, oh my gosh, she's failed as a mother, where are my grandkids? Our whole thing. And it's like, and my mom's big thing was like, they're not expensive, they're not difficult, even though I've watched her raise 5 kids and it was very difficult by herself. So it's just really funny that that's the push, like, have kids, say anything they need to say to just get you to
get you on that side. And things like this, the loneliness or the difficulty or managing finances or managing whatever else, isn't necessarily at the forefront of the mind of what they would tell you as advice. And I get it, different time, different generations, and their focuses were different, I guess, compared to us, where it seems like we have more time to try and have gentle parenting or to take our time with X, Y, and Z. It does often surprise me, or I have moments where it does surprise me, where you never talked about how difficult this was mentally, or how lonely it was, or whatever else in that kinds of space. Yeah, I mean, I feel like they had different, like, exactly what you've just said. They had different challenges and also didn't have the language. Yeah. And so when I think often sometimes I'll say a thing and my mum, I'll see her go, oh yeah. She'll be like, yeah, I remember that. But at the time, because she was dealing with sort of bigger pressures, she almost either didn't voice it, or
didn't attribute it to what it was.
Fair.
I feel like we're able to go, which I really hope our kids will even surpass us, but I feel like we're able to go to hold this sort of thing that didn't quite have a name, and we're able to go, I'm feeling this. It's not that you think it is, and it's not this thing that you think it is. It's a thing in between. It's like a jelly thing that we're starting to put names on, and they are a bit like, no, that's just stress. And then you unpick it, and they're like, it's not just stress. It's sadness. It's you know.
Yeah, no, I hear that.
And sometimes when I look back at my childhood, I had a lot of freedom. But sometimes when I really think about it, I think my mum was depressed.
Okay. Yeah.
I think she had postnatal depression.
Okay.
With when my sister was born, she'd spend hours in her room. And it meant that I could just be in the street, which I loved. I was not called for. I did what I wanted. But looking back, now I'm a mum. I'm like, what was going on for her?
Yeah.
What was going on for her? I mean, I was raised by my dad mainly, actually, when they separated. I was with him. But I don't know. I sort of don't really want to speak too much on her experience because she doesn't know. She hasn't voiced it. But my instinct now is like, she was sad.
That was what it was. Yeah. How many siblings do you have?
I have, it's me and my immediate junior sister, Nkiru.
Yeah.
So we've got same mum, same dad. Then I've got 2 sisters and a little brother. Same dad, different mum.
Yeah. Okay. Cool.
So there's 5 of us.
Yeah. Amazing. I'm also one of 6 total.
Wow.
But similar splits in terms of mum. Oh my gosh, different dad. The first 2. Then me and my 2 siblings, same mum, same dad, and my younger sister, different mum, same dad. That's the maths. But yeah, no, okay. So lots of siblings.
Yeah, and I'm the eldest, and so I've definitely been the mum.
Yeah,
basically,
100%.
Which was great, and it actually meant for me with the motherhood, I actually felt like I didn't have that many
surprises.
Shocks.
Yeah.
Which I feel really flipping lucky now, actually. But it does mean I'm not good at identifying my own needs. Because I've lived a life of service since the age of 7,
and it hasn't stopped.
You know?
Okay,
but that's the challenge. That's my challenge. Is going. What do I need? I'm really trying to get better at that.
That's really good. That's amazing that you're trying to take the time to focus on yourself. Because, not easy. How's that going, by the way?
It's really hard. But you know what's great now? So now my daughter's dad is remarried. He has a baby. And now we have a setup. She was just sort of with me all the time.
Okay.
Now she goes to him every other weekend.
Okay, nice.
So I have a guaranteed weekend.
Just for you.
Every other weekend, which is actually quite frequent compared to none at all. Where I'm like, I can go to Birmingham for the weekend by myself, not tell anyone I'm going, and just do the things I like to do in Birmingham. I can go to the Lake District if I want. I can see my girlfriends and not have a curfew, not worry about babysitter. Do you know what I mean? I can do my long workout at the gym and not cramming it in before I run home. Do you know what I mean?
Oh my gosh.
So it's I'm getting better.
That's amazing.
At it. I think the thing where I need to get better identifying my needs are in relationships.
Okay.
So, if you and I were trying to decide what to do later this afternoon, and I'd be like, "What do you want to do?" And you were like, there's a place I really want to try for lunch." I'm like, "Yeah, cool.
Let's do that."
And I'm not going, "Let me suppress what I want to do. Let me do what Rachel wants to do." I'm going, "I could be happy doing that."
Yeah.
And if you were to go, "What do you want to do?" I'd be like,
What, a question for me? Okay, whatever you want to
and
not
I'm by
flipping
myself,
it that way. Yeah,
easy,
amazing.
But if I'm with another person, and so when it comes to dating, and stuff like that, I really have to make sure that I don't immediately go into the caring role. Yeah, because I'm teaching that person that that's what I do.
Exactly, and that's the precedent that you set.
Exactly, and then when I start going, I feel like all we talk about is you and your issues. They're like, okay, well, tell me yours. Why are you not telling me yours? Yeah. And I'm like, ask me.
Do you find
make it as easy for me as I'm making it for you?
Damn it. Do you find it difficult talking about yourself, putting yourself in that space to actually talk about yourself or your issues rather? Yeah.
I think so, because I think I haven't got any.
Yeah. Okay.
I think I'm not struggling.
Yeah.
And then I sort of look like I'm managing everything, and I think I am managing everything. And then, I don't know, someone will come and lay out all of their problems in minute detail.
Yeah.
And I'll be like, I mean, yeah, but you're okay, you're fine, deal with it, basically. And then I'm like, oh, I'm actually managing quite a lot.
Okay.
Do you know what I mean?
No, 1,000,000%. So it's about giving yourself grace as well, for sure.
Yeah, and like maybe noticing the challenges and going, that's quite difficult. This is quite hard.
That. And it's just this blessing and a curse. It's fantastic that you can do so much, you can carry so much and hold so much, because I'm the same. And I'm very much, sometimes you can be, yeah, that's difficult, that's hard, but you roll your sleeves up, you get it done. But it's true, remembering to just take a break, or want to take a break, or say to someone or whoever, okay, no, you carry that for now, as and when you can. That's really important.
God, yeah.
That, because I'm very much, yeah, let's keep going, like, we can do it. Yeah, it's hard, but I'll take a second, I'll carry on. But yeah,
well, because sometimes acknowledging that something's really hard before you've quite finished it can make my stamina sort of seep away. And it's almost like I just need to get to here,
and then
I can be like, oh my god,
I just did what?
It's so hard.
I get it. Okay, we have work to do. Okay, but we're still growing and we're still learning.
We're doing
it. And as you said, you've highlighted the things that you need to do for you while highlighting that. So
I'm figuring them out.
Yeah, don't stop. Keep figuring them out.
Thanks.
Pre-baby, what was life like for you? What were you doing? What were you up to?
What was I doing? I was acting. I was like acting my ass off.
Amazing.
Doing like loads and loads of theatre.
Nice.
So I sort of started off doing community theatre because I didn't have an agent. I didn't go to drama school. So I did a lot of community theatre, like set in the back of the van, driving up and down the country, doing prisons and schools and churches and stuff like that for a couple of years.
Yeah.
Then I managed to get an agent.
Nice.
And then I started doing sort of a lot of work with theatre for young people.
Yeah.
And like outreach work. And then like bit by bit my work started to change, but it was mostly out of London and it was mostly touring.
Okay.
Like it was graft.
Yeah.
Real graft. And then, you know, cleaner jobs in between and nannying jobs in between and that sort of thing. And then she came along. Yeah. And I became more discerning, actually. I was so worried. You spend so long going, what's going to happen to my career once I have a kid?
Yeah.
And the kid comes along, and if you look at the jobs I did, it's almost like you could draw a red line.
Really?
Before she was there and after she was there, and the sort of quality of jobs. And I don't want to say quality because it means the stuff I did before wasn't good. I guess it means the jump that I really wanted to make in my career. It's almost like she made it possible by making me go, is this worth me killing myself?
There we go.
Doing this job? Is it worth me leaving her?
Yeah.
With her grandparents or with her dad? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. It's great that you said that. It seems to be like a massive, the birth of the child seems to be like a massive correlation for people, because it does become, is it worth it? Because whatever you do when you're away from them, you're never getting that time back. Whatever you miss, whatever milestone, whatever it is. So if you're getting compensated in some way, shape or form for your time, it's gotta be worth it in whatever way it can be worth it.
And also it needs to, I feel at the moment I'm in a place where I need it to support the dream that I have for me and her. Yeah. So I'm like, I want us to move out of a flat and into a house. I want us to be able to go on holiday. Yeah. I want to go out for dinner. Yeah. I want to take her to the theatre. I want jobs now that can support a future and can keep that, can pay me enough for me to be unemployed for a chunk of time where I can be home. Yeah. And so it's scary, but that's my vision at the moment.
Let's keep going, because it's all doable. Yeah. It's possible.
Yeah.
And you're doing it.
I'm trying.
Did you know you wanted to be a mum?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah.
How comes?
I don't know, man. I think it's just in my waters.
Yeah.
I think I'm just a mum. Yeah. Like I have been to all my siblings. I kind of am to my dad, even though it's kind of unhealthy, but I just am. You know. Yeah. It's just in me. Yeah. Definitely leading up to getting pregnant though. I remember when we were like should we stop being so careful?
Got it.
That stage.
Okay.
I did swing like a pendulum day to day of like, why do people have kids? It's so egotistical. Like, or actually, I definitely want kids. And then like, oh my God, I don't know. So there was a few weeks where I was like ping ponging around.
Yeah.
But then as soon as I got pregnant, which happened insanely quickly,
okay,
they don't tell you. You just
How
hear
quick
all the
was
stories
quick?
of how hard it is. And so I was like, this probably isn't going to happen because
It's gonna take
everyone's finding it
time.
difficult. Yeah. And then suddenly
Yeah.
it was like, her dad was away
Done.
on tour. And I was like, oh my God, I'm pregnant.
It's happened.
It's happened.
How quick was quick?
I think it was like a matter of like a month and a half after we stopped being careful.
Okay. Yeah, okay.
And also,
I'm like, go eggs. Good stuff, go eggs.
But also, I've been on the pill from like 16 until about 20, maybe 27.
Okay.
And I remember suddenly waking up and being like, ugh, why am I taking this pill?
Yeah.
Like I didn't even read an article or anything.
It was just given.
What are you doing?
And that's it.
Yeah.
Are you of that age? Okay, this is what you do for
and
protection.
We were so scared about getting pregnant.
Yeah.
It was like the worst
of course.
thing that could happen.
Of
so
course.
I was like, just give it to me. Give it to me.
Yeah.
So I stopped taking the pill, but my periods didn't come back for like 2 years.
Wow.
So then when I started thinking, oh, we might start wanting to have a baby. I was worried that it wasn't going to be easy. And I went to the doctor and was like, is there some kind of fertility test or something you can do? And he's like, no, you need to be trying for 2 years. And if it doesn't happen in 2 years, then I was like,
yeah, that's what I had as well. Yeah.
Really?
Not necessarily the difficulty per se. When we decided to stop being so careful, we're like, yeah, should we? Yeah, okay, let's go. Without really understanding what it really meant to get pregnant, the process or the maths that's involved in it. That's why I call it the maths. It was a case of, okay, well, we're not using protection, so okay.
Any day, right?
Right. And I do hear about people having difficulties, but then they've been trying for some time. So then I was like, okay, I'm older, so maybe this will take some time. So I would say the first 6 months without knowing pregnancy maths and understanding when you're ovulating like properly and how long you really ovulate for. And yes, it's like a 5-day window, but it's not. It's really 2. It's actually not really 2. It's 1 day. Really,
I think
at
it is
hour.
wild when people get pregnant by accident.
I don't know how they did that.
Now I know
magic.
the pregnancy maths.
Yeah,
I'm like,
that's insane. So then I was a bit like, do you know what? Maybe when you're younger and they're like, don't ever get pregnant, your life, whatever. Maybe that's when you literally sneeze and you have a baby, because that's the thing. But no one, I didn't think, at least at 18, 20, whatever, to really try and check what my ovulation and fertility was like then. No.
I didn't even know what ovulation was.
Right? So when I had like an appointment with my GP, but it was more like a checkup. I kind of do like a whole checkup once a year kind of thing, MOT thing.
Cool.
And then she was like, if you're using, tell her what we're doing. She was like, if you're using an app to monitor your ovulations and stuff, she was like, just stop. They don't really work. Use ovulation sticks. Pee on that every single day at a certain time. Then you not kind of understand what your HCG is doing in your system, etc. So December, I had my appointment. December 31st, had that appointment. And then my birthday was in January. We had a great time in January. And a couple of weeks into February, I was pregnant. So it was after understanding that thing.
Start peeing on the stick.
Yeah, I just needed to understand what that was and not be reliant on the app just because.
Yeah, the app did not work for me.
Nothing.
Because also my cycle's really long.
Okay.
So every time it would be like, yeah, I don't understand you.
Yeah. So it's like, okay, great then, thanks. So that was it's incredible the difference it makes when you have the right information or the right guidance, you know what you're doing. And then as you said, you thought it would be difficult. Your GP was like, keep trying for 2 years. So I almost felt like no one kind of gave you more information other than, okay, give yourself 2 years and then we'll see if it's difficult. And then so you're just like, okay, well, bam. Oh, hello. Like, you're here.
There's someone in there. Yeah.
How did you feel when you saw the lines on the test, or when you noticed that, okay, something's up?
Oh, like so happy and scared and like, wow, who said I was allowed to do this? It was so cool. I remember going to the doctor and telling him, and he didn't even make eye contact. I remember him just like looking in his computer.
Lovely.
And I sat down and I was like, I did a pregnancy test and it says I'm pregnant. And he went, okay, congratulations then.
Okay, life-changing event
Not
for
like,
one. Okay.
Do you want to keep it?
Yeah.
Not how do you feel about this? Not
Yeah.
are you in a relationship? None of this. He was like, congratulations. I'll sign you into the hospital type of thing. And I was like, what?
Wow.
So I changed GPs because that just, I was like,
yeah, that's not an energy you want. I get that. It's funny. My one was, I think I called my GP. I'm stuck to foliage at the moment, guys. It's great. I called my GP to then they told me, oh, they don't do those services. I was like, I didn't know what to
services?
Do. Right. Hi, I'm pregnant. What do I do next? We don't deal with anything like that. You have to contact. I had an app to go and subscribe to, I think, to let me know more about the hospitals in my area that dealt with maternity services. And then it was, okay, called up a hospital, Hamilton, and then they told me, okay, come down and we'll get you assigned to a community with midwife or whatever else, blah, blah. So that was really surreal.
Oh, wow.
I didn't actually see, yeah, I forgot about that actually. That was weird. My GP was like, yeah, I can't help you.
Yeah, okay. I mean, there's similar things sort of happened to me actually. But I also feel like we just missed a load of things. Like everybody talks about the appointments they have. And I'm like, we didn't have that. I mean, we were lucky. Everything just like happened. But
yeah. Until I went to see my community midwife, it was like, okay, just
How did you have a community with midwife?
So I'm even trying to really think about the process. No? I spoke to doctor, okay, great, nothing. Then it was like, what can I do? Got the app, useless app that wasn't working. It just literally showed you the hospitals in your area and that was it. I knew I wanted to give birth in Homerton. That I knew just because it has such a great reputation, etc. So I called them up and they were, once you hit, obviously 20 weeks, your scan. So it was around that time. Once you've hit that time, come in and see us. And then had a meeting and then, had a consultation with a midwife. And then they let us know that it'd be, which one do you want to do? Either have a community midwife or come into the hospital to be seen. Wow,
that's so
and
cool.
Then the community one was closer. So that's who I spoke to in the initial meeting. And I really, I liked our connection and vibe and rapport. The midwife that they had in the office, absolutely nothing wrong with her. But for me, such a big thing for you to hold eye contact with me. Yeah. Because I feel like we're talking. Yeah. So when I met the other lady who would be in the hospital, it might have just been like a nervous tick. It might, whatever it was, but she just didn't maintain any eye contact. I went,
that's why I left the surgery.
I mean, so there we go. I was typing on computer. Congratulations. Okay, thanks.
You didn't look at me once.
Yeah. So that was my decision. And then from there, I saw Auntie every so often from Ghana as well, which was quite funny. So it was quite nice to have that element.
To have the same person. Yeah. That must have been amazing.
Yeah, that was fun.
I really wished I'd had that actually.
Yeah. What was your experience?
It was like just very sort of I feel like we had very few checks. There was a couple of times I needed to go in and give blood or something.
Okay, yeah.
Or like get bloods checked.
Yeah.
And it was always a different person we were seeing.
Okay.
But I just feel I started to feel like I was on some sort of list.
Okay.
Where they were just like, she's fine. Or something, because honestly, my sister has just had a baby.
Hey, congratulations.
And this is, we are talking 10 years ago, so I'm sure things are different.
Okay.
But I didn't get seen. I just was like, okay, I'm just doing this pregnancy then. And then when she was born, I remember going in to the hospital. Yeah. Because it was North Mid. Okay. And they had a new, like, maternity thing. And they had, like, they have this wing that's run by midwives. I can't remember what it's called.
Yeah. You've got the birthing centre.
I think it's that. Okay. I think that's what it's called. Yeah. And they got like pools and stuff in
there. Yeah.
So I went in. They were like, "You're not even 1 centimetre dilated. Go home. Come back in 5 hours." So we were like, "Okay." And I'm so obedient. It's ridiculous. So I was like, "We're going home."
Go home. That's
but
what they
just
said.
Before we left the hospital, I had this huge contraction.
Love it.
And I remember Bilkis's dad being like, "Are you sure we should go home?" And I was like, "Yep."
That's
they
what
said
they
we
said.
should go home. So we went home. My contractions were coming thick and fast. We were counting them, but we'd forgotten what it meant.
Sorry, the counting thing I didn't get on with. I didn't get it. I didn't get it. Didn't get it.
Counting them, and we were like, "That good?" And then I started feeling quite intense. And he was like, "They say you should get in the bath." So we ran a bath.
Nice.
I got in the bath, and he was knackered. I remember him sat in the chair like with his phone and the stopwatch, like sleeping. Bless. And I remember sitting in the bath, and the water was definitely slowing things down.
Okay.
And I remember being like, do I want to have a baby or do I not want to do this? Like, are we having this baby? She's coming. Why am I sitting in this water and it's slowing it down? So I got out.
Nice.
And as I got out the bath, my dad called.
Okay.
And my ex-husband spoke on the phone, and I had a contraction in the background, and my dad was like, "Put her in the car now."
come through,
take
Dad.
it to the hospital now. And Elsie was like, Dad says we should go now. And I was like, it has been 5 hours, we may go. So we got in the car, and for me, the thing that triggered my contractions was like motion.
Okay.
And so the whole way from our house to the hospital was speed bumps. So every speed bump, I was like, like just having these contractions the whole way.
Woo!
Got there, they were like, okay, you're 5
We believe you
centimeters. You can
stay.
You can stay. And I was like, okay. And I was like, can I go in a pool? And they said, well, just go and check.
Okay.
And so when they went to check, I had a humongous contraction where I felt like I needed to shit.
Yeah.
And I was like, I need a shit. And
It's a
Bill Keith's
sign.
dad like ran into the hallway and was like, she needs to poo. She needs to poo. And so they came back in and they were like, you've gone from 5 to 10 in 20 minutes. And I was like, yeah. And they were like, you're giving birth now in this room. And it wasn't like a labor room. It wasn't like a special room. It was just like
almost like the consultation room space.
It was in there.
Oh,
and so I was like on my hands and knees going, okay, can I have... So we started doing it. The contractions were coming and they were like, when we say push, I started doing that. I was like, can I have some gas in there? And the midwife was like, can I be honest with you? Baby's coming now.
Okay.
We're doing this now.
Okay.
And I was like,
oh my gosh. All
so
right.
we just did it.
You're like the real deal.
Push that baby out, man.
What was that like with no pain relief?
It was amazing. It was intense.
Yeah.
But I remember every single moment. And it felt like, I mean, I've got nothing to compare it to.
True. Very true.
But it was like there's a river of fire and the current is really fast. You have to just...
Yeah, I'm having a moment, guys. Keep going.
Well, you have to just dive into the river and go with it.
You're the only person who's described it as fire. I feel like I'm the... I always say it's like you're on fire. That's what it is.
Yeah.
Everybody else is described in different ways, but you're the only other person who's ever said that.
Well, it was just really, really intense. And I remember them saying to me, because I was on the bed like this, right?
Yeah.
So if this is the headboard, my knees are on where your head.
Oh my gosh, yeah, that's
me.
me.
And I was like this.
Yes, that was me too.
And I remember
this makes me so
them
happy.
saying to me, the baby's head's out.
Yeah.
And I remember being like, I know what it looks like down there. I cannot imagine a head being there. And so I went to her dad. I was like, is it there? And he peered down and he looked back up and was like, yeah. And he said in that moment, it was the weirdest moment because like she just opened her eyes and looked right at him into his soul and was like, what are you? Yeah. And he was like, she's here. And like her head was like purple and a little bit pointed. Like,
of course.
She wasn't like that by the time she was out and in my arms, but it was intense.
Yeah.
And then you're not ready that you've got to then give birth to the placenta.
Yeah.
And I remember being like, what? I've finished. I've done it. But I luckily...
Did you know that before?
I did. Because you get these 3... We didn't do NCT or anything like that. But I remember there's these 3 lessons you get for free on the NHS called something like parent class. And it's only meant to be 2 hours per lesson. It's just free. Yeah. But we had this amazing midwife who was just like, she ran over by like an hour and a half.
Thank you.
Every session because she was like, there's so much that you guys need to know. Okay. And I remember her saying, try and give birth to the placenta naturally. Okay. They're going to try and inject you with something to get it out, or they're going to try and yank it out. Try and give birth to it naturally because when you give birth to the placenta, it then kicks in this system of stuff that needs to happen in your body that the baby needs. So it kicks in your meconium for the beginning of the milk. Yeah. It kicks in all these hormones do you know what I mean? And so I had that in my head, and I feel lucky that I didn't need pain relief because I was able to just be like
completely clear.
I would like to try and give birth to the thing, and they were a bit like, oh fucking hell.
Oh yeah.
One of these, but I was like, no, I'm doing it. And it didn't. It was like it came maybe like 10 minutes later. Okay. Fucking hell. That bit was really because I didn't care about it the way I cared about Bill Keith's. Yeah. And so I don't know, it felt more of a like, oh, why do I have to do you know what I mean? Whereas the fact is you're giving birth to your child, this needs to happen. My body needs to open for her to come out. Yeah. the placenta, I sort of had no real idea of like what size it was, what shape it was. And when it came out, I was like, that's the wildest thing I've ever seen.
Yeah. I really wanted to, I'm also that person. I really wanted to get in it and like touch it and hold it and pull it and just understand what this is. I didn't get that chance to. No, so like I made sure to have delayed clamping. So just wanted to have her connected to it for as long as possible for her to get everything that she needed to get from that. So that was great. After I gave birth, they did give me some time to see if I would naturally deliver that, and I didn't. So I ended up getting an injection, which was the most painful injection of all time, which was bizarre because I just had a kid. But that was so crazy painful. And my partner Max was like, he's like, "Now, Rach, they left you alone for a little bit, but then they came and they were yanking it." And I was like, "Were they?" And he was like, "Yeah," because I didn't feel like that at all.
Because of the injection, or just
I
because
do you know what? I don't know. I wonder if that's the case, but I actually don't know. But I didn't feel like it. So even I didn't even really feel it coming out of me. I almost thought if it would feel like maybe like you're passing a blood clot or something like that. I can't so really. Big. I know, but I can't describe to you what that felt like. I can describe everything else, but not that. Great little memory nugget for me to figure out. But yeah, when it came out, I was like, wow.
Access the sensation of that either, actually.
At all.
Because my brain wasn't there. My brain was over there.
I've done this already,
It was with her,
So that was interesting. But I really, if I had just gathered myself thing, I think I would have really tried to just understand, because it looks incredible. It looks...
It's like the roots of a tree.
It's just mad. Mad is the worst way to describe it, but it just looks out of this world.
Yeah, it's alien looking, isn't it?
Yeah. So I wish I had a chance to
touch it and stuff.
Yeah, 100%. But again, I'm a bit gross like that. Is it gross though?
No, it's kept your baby alive for 9 months.
Yeah. So that was phenomenal. What was your you've obviously described the birth, but what was your journey in pregnancy like?
So much detail.
No, at all. Oh no, sorry. That's great.
Then I farted.
All the detail possible. Did you poo? Apparently I didn't. But a
tiny nugget came out.
Oh, did you see it?
And it was bothering me so much because I could see it between my legs because I was on my hands and knees. And I was like, "Can you move it? Can you move it?" And I remember the midwife was like, "Oh, just get rid of it. It's upsetting her."
Who is your team?
I don't want my baby coming out on this little poo nugget.
But were they nice to you? I can't tell at this stage.
Do you know what?
Yeah.
The midwife was really annoying. And she kept calling me, my first name is Sally. Amaka's my middle name, but everybody calls me Amaka.
Yeah.
And she was like, every time they wanted to check me, they wanted me to get on the bed and go on my back. And I was so uncomfortable for me being on my back. I was just like, I cannot. Do I have to? Can you not just like get on the floor and have a look up? She was like, if you could just pop yourself on the bed, Sally. Just get on the bed. And I was like, oh. Anyway, right. Just as it became time to like actually push, when I was like 10, like at the moment where Bilquis was about to come out, she was like, "Now we've got a training midwife here, and it would be really great if she could." Well, you know what? She was so great. I was like, if she is less annoying than you, I would love it to be her. And she was this amazing Spanish woman called Marta, and she came in and she was like, "I've noticed your husband's calling you something else.
Oh,
what's he calling
amazing!"
You? I said, "He's calling me Amaka." And she was like, "Would you rather I called you Amaka?" And I was like, "Yes, please." And she was like, "You know, in Spanish, Amaka means hammock." I was like, "I love that. Yeah, I love that." And she was like, "Push, push, longer. Like, I'll never forget. My sister still says it to me now. Like, longer. And she was wonderful, actually. Like, I went back to hospital to try and find her to give her like some chocolates and stuff, but she wasn't there.
But again, like, the impact of someone just taking their time to just get your name right has helped shape your whole experience compared to, "All right, Sally, no." Like, no.
Just pop yourself on the bed. Also, why are you talking to me like I'm 7?
Face. Yeah. Like, I love that you had that experience, that I love that you had that change that came in there, because I feel like I can imagine it just made the biggest difference to the whole process.
It really did. Like, I was fine. Like, she just had this is an awful thing to say, but her voice was just really annoying.
It's what it is.
Sorry.
Some of us have annoying voices.
But she did also say a nice thing. Like, I remember when I was contracting and stuff, because I was on my feet the whole time. I remember her saying to the other midwife and to my ex-husband, actually, "She's in control, leave her."
Nice, okay.
And she could tell that the way I was contracting or whatever, that I was in control. Nice. And just hearing the fact that she thought I was in control
That helps, right?
It really helps. So
yeah.
sorry that I said she's annoying. But...
No, but hey, she could have been really nice and also annoying. That happens. Two things can be opposites and true. You know, so no drama whatsoever. That's it. I guess pre-baby arriving, what were your thoughts career-wise? Were you worried about how you were gonna balance the two or not? Or I know you said it obviously was 10 years ago, and I know, okay, I'm saying two things at the same time, which is frustrating, but typical rate. But basically, like for instance, today it is way more common, and I've had this experience as well, where production knows I have a kid, especially when I was breastfeeding. What can we do to help you, work around you? Do we need to do, like, they made sure to include that in whatever it is that I was doing. And I kind of had it in my head, whatever it is work wise, if I need to bring my baby, I'm bringing my baby. I'm taking care of that. I'm booking whatever I need to book. Great. But it was fantastic to have them jump in and adjust. So 10 years ago, okay, the eyebrows are furrowing. I want to know what your experience was like after baby, but pre-baby. What were you like in understanding how you would manage work or what that was going to look like for you? If that made any sense whatsoever.
I did. No, I'm just working out which one to address first.
No props.
Let's go before. What was I worried about?
Yeah.
What was my plan? What was our plan? We didn't really have one. But that is one thing that we were quite good at, is just going, let's just have a go, and then we'll see what needs doing. Okay. And we'll do it. Yeah. So I still live in the flat that we were in, which is really near my in-laws. Okay. And so we purposefully lived near them because of that. Help, really. Right? Yeah. And they still save my butt. Like, they really help me with childcare. And so we were like, well, they're there. And Bilkis's dad is also an actor. Okay. So there's flexibility in that. Yeah. So even though we were poor, we also had flexibility in like what.
And that helps with childcare or with what else that you might need to pay for.
Yeah. So we actually didn't really have a solid plan, but we were just a bit like, we'll just pray and give it a go. Okay. And just see what happens. And I was with my dad for a lot of my childhood, and he's a musician. So I've grown up with an artist parent, and so I'm very used to there being real lean times, and him needing to be a builder for a bit, or us not having much money to feed us for the week. But my experience of that is we were okay. Yeah. So I've never really been that afraid of the lean times. They don't feel good. Emotionally, they're hard. Yeah. But I know I'll be okay. But then when she was born, I was like doing a radio play the day of the night when I went into labour. Like, I'm such a dick. I'm like, I'm just gonna say I don't know when to start. Yeah. And I'm like, while I still feel good, I'm just gonna carry on. This is the thing,
right? And it's work, get that in.
But I love working. It's like my favourite thing. Yeah. So I worked the whole way through my pregnancy. Okay. I was doing this massive musical with huge dance numbers until I was about 7 months pregnant. Yeah, okay. And I told them I was like less pregnant than I was. Oh my God. Everyone was freaking out. Yeah. And so I was like, it's fine, guys. Really, it's fine. Yeah. Yeah. And then just did a load of voice work. I did a bit of theatre, just like, and I would go to auditions and not tell people I was pregnant. Okay. Because I was like, I don't know how to manage this. It shouldn't be a problem. So I'm going to see if you'd give me the job I'm presenting. Precisely. And then we'll deal with it. So I was just freaking blagging it left, right, and centre. I didn't know what I was doing. No, fun. And then I went back to work. I did like a week's worth of like kind of theatre workshopping when she was 4 weeks old. Yeah. At the Albany, and her dad came with me and sat in the cafe, and expressing was really difficult, it just wasn't coming out. Okay. And so I did this, I'll never forget this, on the first day of this week. Go on. We were all standing around, I don't know if theatre's a thing for you. Okay, right. You know when you got to do this like standing in a circle, my name's Amaka, and do like a stupid move for your name, so you remember your effing name. I'm like, I just pushed a baby out 4 weeks, but hey, my name's Amaka, crazy body. So anyway, doing all that sort of stuff all morning, then like being all physical and all of that stuff. I go out in our coffee break, our morning coffee break, which, it's like, what, 11:30, 12? Yeah. I walk up to Bilkis and her dad, and he's like, what's on your top? And my tits I was wearing a grey top.
Express.
Had drenched, like I had a big circle around each tit, and I was soaking wet. I didn't realise because I'd been working. And
nobody told you, first of all.
No
that's
one
rude
told
anyway.
me. Yeah, because this is theatre and people don't have babies. When they do, they take themselves away and do it in secret or something.
But I can see that, oh no, your top's a bit... I could say that to you, but anyway.
Honestly, no, they couldn't figure out how to do it. And I looked down and I was like...
My milk is here!
This is just so... I was so embarrassed.
Oh, man.
I feel embarrassed now.
Do you?
Recalling the story. But it's fine because there were loads of younger women, and later on in the week, they all came up to me one by one going like, how do you have a baby and do that? Like, how do you do it? I was like, okay, I'm that person now.
Yeah,
That's
basically.
the person that needs to talk to. No, that's okay.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know because I had it yesterday. But then... Basically. It was like a mix. I ended up doing all of the work, basically. I somehow was just getting jobs.
Nice.
And so we were figuring it out, how to make it work. So he would come with me for a lot of it. And it got to the point where they'd stay at home and I'd go away to rehearse, but she just wouldn't take the bottle. So she'd just wait for me.
Oh, babe, really?
Yeah, and she'd have maybe sips of water, but she'd just wait for me.
Wait for mommy.
And I'd get home and be like, she'd just be on me.
Wow.
Like all night basically. And so I feel like that affected her sleep as well. And her sleep still isn't, she wakes up at that funny time.
And just has a hang.
No, thank God. She gets out of her bed and gets into my bed.
Okay.
So I'm a bit like, she's in my bed every night.
Okay.
But she's going to sleep in hers.
Yeah.
But also there's no one else in my bed.
Yeah.
So
why not?
I fought it for a long time. And then I was just like, she's not going to be doing this when she's 15.
There we go.
She might be, because
babe, listen, we got it.
But then I think childcare now, it feels very each job seems to have a different solution.
Okay, nice.
Because she's changing.
Yeah.
So I've just come back from being in America for 6 months.
Yeah, okay, amazing.
So she came with me and did her summer term in a different school in America.
How did she find that?
Oh my God.
Did she love it?
In the end, but it was a rocky old start.
Okay.
Because, you know, she's leaving her friends.
Yeah.
It's a completely different culture.
Yeah.
Even language is different. And the syllabus is different. So for her, she felt like she was at high school. She was like, I don't understand anything. And and so she was worried about tests and all that stuff. And I was like, Bookies, I'm not worried about tests. Don't worry about tests. This is an experience that you're having. And just be there. And I'm really proud of you. Like every morning was a slog. Really? And then we turned a corner just as I was like, shit, this is going to be really bad.
Okay.
We just turned this corner.
Yeah.
And she got a best friend.
Oh, nice.
She everyone loved her. Like they loved her from the beginning. They were so excited to have her.
Yeah, yeah.
And she's a joy.
Yeah.
And she found her like weird people.
Perfect.
And then she was cool. They could just be weird. Every time I went to pick her up from school, they were like being weird in the corner somewhere. And so what you were talking about with help from production, though, I didn't feel that supported actually. Okay. And I really was like, can I have help with like, do you have anything like? Yeah. What do I do about do I get a nanny? Like, what have people done before me that have worked for you? And they were like, a bit like, it's your choice to bring her. And so I had living allowance, and I needed to make my living allowance stretch basically. They gave me like a little bit extra in my living allowance, but we're talking like most people need a 1-bedroom flat. I need a 2, and that's not because she needs a room. It's because whoever I'm bringing in to look after her needs a room. Yeah. So she's in with me. The way I solved the childcare, because you don't get your schedule until just before.
Of course, yeah.
So I didn't know how much I was going to be shooting. Yeah. So I ended up going, right, I'm just going to have to offer out to my friends and very close family. Ended up like shelling out so much money to get people over and keep them fed and keep them comfortable. Yeah. And then by the time my schedule actually came through, I was like, okay, I didn't need the first bit.
Thanks, guys. Anyway, yep.
But also, it was just part of the solution. And now I feel, because I haven't done a lot of television. Okay. But now, having done that, and I did another one like the year before where I was in every single day. And so now having the experience of looking at those scripts side by side, I feel like I can now make more of an educated guess of how much I'm going to be in. Okay. So I also feel like if I was Halle Berry doing that job, I think they'd have helped.
Halle, what do you need? Where can we go? Should we buy you a house for the year? Yeah.
But I'm not a name.
Yeah.
And so
not yet.
I don't know. Love you. I don't know how to throw my weight about. Yeah. I don't like to. And B, they're a bit like, she's really grateful to be here, she'll just do it. And I did just solve it, but I really lucked out that I got a really good rapport with one of the sort of production coordinators.
Nice.
Who's young, and she just was really sweet to me.
Nice.
And so I'd send these emails being like, I'm freaking out, and she'd be like, don't worry, why do you call these people? And she was just doing it off her own back.
Yeah.
She could see I wasn't getting any help.
Okay.
But then when we said goodbye, I had the ball. This was the job of my life. I loved every single moment of it.
I love that.
I loved it.
Yeah.
So when I went into the office at the end and gave people gifts and was saying thank you, I had such a wonderful time. She was like, I didn't want to overshare, but I was brought up by a single mum.
Oh, my heart.
What you were dealing with, I really identified with it. And I just think you're amazing. And I just think, just keep going. And I was like,
wow,
cool.
Yeah.
But that's why she was helping me.
That's amazing. Yeah, no, that's really hit home for me a bit. A lot. Let me not cry. It'll be the second time I've cried on this goddamn podcast. I'm not crying.
We're talking about real life. It's okay. We've got a new vicar at church yesterday, and he started crying in his sermon yesterday. I was like, okay, I like you.
Yeah, you're
Carry
real.
On, sorry. You talk about your mum?
Yeah, I mean, sorry, again, my dad is present in my life, was present in my life, etc. But my mum, we lived with my mum. My mum did all the things. My mum's one of 5. Again, African mum to the core, so patience and all the rest of it. Bit of a myth, but as in she gets stuff done. Fantastic. Whenever people would do things to help my mum, that I guess I'm older now, so it resonates more, but it was nice to see when I was younger, and I was like, oh, that's really nice that they did that. But now it meant so much to me that she had those moments. Weird way to think about it or put things, but that just really touches me. So the fact that someone took the time to be helpful to you because it reminded her of what she'd been through, what she's seen, it's amazing. And I just love that it's just not lost on people, that they don't forget where they're from or what they've been through,
that they see you. I felt really seen. So on my street, I live opposite 2 primary schools, and one of them, there's this caretaker who's an old Caribbean gentleman. I'm not sure whereabouts in the Caribbean he's from. His name's Don, and I just know he's noticed that I'm just on my own with my daughter. And he always says hello. He always checks in. He stops. He goes. He's always doing this. That school has 2 sites. So he's always going between the 2 sites. He's always past our flat. He always stops. He looks up at the window to see if we're there, gives us a wave. He always says to my daughter, he's always, make sure you're looking after mum.
That's nice.
And he, I call him uncle now.
Yeah.
Because
it's gone to that point.
I feel his love, and I feel that he would do anything for us if I asked him to. There was a day I was trying to move. I'm always trying to move furniture by myself. So I was getting rid of a sofa, and I was dragging it into the street by myself. And I was he was like, put that down. Let me help you. And then I was like, I'm not sure where to leave it because this feels quite big. And I wanted to leave it as street trash because I know someone will come and take it. And I was like, but I don't want to leave it here on the pavement because it's going to get in the way. He was like, leave it outside the school. I was like, really? And he was like, yeah, just leave it outside the school. And I was like, but will I get in trouble? He was like, no. I'll take care of it. I'll take care of it. I'll take care of it. Someone to say to me, I'll take care of it. Makes me want to cry.
One less thing to think about.
I'll just take care of it. Well, because I feel like they're going, I'll take care of you. It's nice.
I get that.
It's a community. And now my little string of neighbours, because we've been there for such a long time, we all know each other, and I love it actually, this little spot that we're at. Since COVID, it's different. I think COVID was a forced stop that made people really look at how we've been living and about work-life balance and how possible it actually is to just not work from the office. It's changed people's lives completely. And I feel like parent stuff, that's also been a thing. I think people have started to open their mind a bit, actually we can do 2 things at once. You can multitask, it's fine, or just give people space. How was COVID for you? Did you, obviously an incredibly horrible time for some or for everyone, but did you like the break? Did you enjoy the break? I loved it. Did you? Yeah. Well, I'm a country girl, really. I'm from the countryside, really. And my dad lives out in the country. And so when I sort of sensed that something was about to happen, I just chucked my daughter in the car and took 2 weeks worth of clothes and just left London, expecting the army to stop us. That's how scared I was.
Yeah, because there were elements of something. Martial law, no, something.
Because they hadn't announced COVID yet. They hadn't announced the lockdown.
Yeah.
But her school closed. And I was like, and my play, I was in the middle of doing a play and then that closed.
Okay.
And so I was like, I think we should leave London. So I put her in the car. We drove to my dad's.
Yeah.
I was scared driving as well because I was like, people were saying it wasn't a lockdown yet, but they were saying you had to have a good reason.
Yeah.
And I was like, I'm a black woman, single, on my own, in the car with my black child. If I get stopped, I don't trust that I'm going to be handled well. Yeah. And so I was like coming up with like, why am I going? Why am I going? And that just, and like, of course there's no bloody army. There's no police. Got to dad's, put my daughter to bed. Me and dad sat up watching the news. And then Boris announced the lockdown. And I was like, shit, we're stuck here now.
Yeah.
Well, I was a bit like, is this crazy? Yeah. Do we want to be here? And I was like, should I go and wake her up? Should we drive back to London quickly? And I was like, no, this is what we're doing. Yeah. And then it got extended and extended and extended. Yeah, and I was like, so we were just in the countryside.
That's what it is.
This glorious weather.
Yeah, oh my gosh, yeah. Because we had
amazing.
good times and moments. Yeah.
It was amazing.
Space, I'm assuming as well. Yeah. Space, freedom.
We lived like in the middle of nowhere. Perfect. So every day we would go on a big old stomp through the country. Nice. It was really good. Homeschooling was a challenge, but like.
Yeah. It's so funny. I had friends who were so adamant that they wanted to homeschool their kids. We're going to make it happen. And they were like, yeah, we're not equipped for homeschooling. So that was very funny to kind of see certain people have that complete switch because they couldn't like what's been taught in schools or the curriculum this, whatever else. And then it was like, yeah, Rach, we can't do this. No. So that was quite a funny.
It's really hard.
Funny turnaround.
It was really hard, but it was a really good opportunity to get inside her head.
Yeah.
And to see like what she finds easy and what she finds difficult. And then be like, oh, you've got an issue with this. Yeah. Oh, I can help you with that. Yeah. And have that focused one-on-one time. And like still when she doesn't feel well, she doesn't want to go into school. She's like, can't you just teach me? I'm like, no, babe. I smashed the table with my fist one day. Do you remember that day?
Did you?
Yeah, I got so angry.
Because what? Because you couldn't understand what was happening, or you couldn't articulate it well, or just
I was being an asshole. There was a day when there was a thing that she understood yesterday.
Okay.
That she wasn't getting today.
Okay.
And it wasn't even that she couldn't understand it. She just couldn't be asked.
Okay.
And she was staring out the window. And let's face it, that's my favourite thing to do.
Okay.
I love zoning out and staring out the window. And I was like, you're not listening to me. Fist on table. Glasses, leave the table for a second. Like, yeah, it was bad. And then I was like, okay, I just need to go. Went outside, came back in. I was like, I'm sorry.
Oh my God.
I'm sorry. So like, I was like, I'm just going to have to focus on times tables and reading.
Yeah, fair.
That's what we're doing. We're going to do homeschool until midday.
Yeah.
Then we're going to have lunch. Then I'm going to pack a bag full of snacks and we're going to be out of the house until dinner time. Yeah. That's what we're doing. Oh my gosh. Because till 3 o'clock doing school.
No.
And it's too intense for one-on-one. It's too much. Yeah.
I don't even know. Sorry, I think I had grand plans of one day homeschooling or something. Blah, 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 whatever. I'll see what happens in real life.
Oh, really?
Yeah, we'll see. But again...
That's not a bad idea.
But this is, again, pre-having a kid and being like, you know what? Music is very much part of my life. My partner is also... He's a musician.
Oh, cool.
He's a musician. He's an actor. Music takes the forefront for him. Same, but acting takes the forefront for me. So I had this idea of... I understand that there's a real possibility that just her upbringing is just going to be not the norm. So I'm like, well, then I can imagine things like maybe a tutor or homeschooling. So I'm like, yeah. But let's see what the practicality and the logistics of all of that is really in real life. That's kind of where my head is at.
I suppose as well, her revealing to you who she is.
There we go. How she likes to learn, what she doesn't, like how that works for her. All that kinds of stuff.
That's really cool that you've got those ideas at your fingertips, though.
We'll see. I mean, sure, I'm like, yeah, I can do this, I can do whatever, but we'll see. That's the truth of it all.
Yeah.
Because it's like even thinking about, for work, she's been able to travel with us and things. She's now 2, which means now we're paying for an actual price for her plane ticket, whatever else.
It's mad, isn't it?
Listen to me. No reduction. She's about this big.
Honestly.
She's going to be sat in it for like 30 seconds and I've got to pay how much?
It's so mad.
Anyway, that's a conversation to have with them. So let's see what that looks like in real life. Like, are we going to spend X amount a month, amount for that trip? Does that make sense? So I feel like a lot of life things are kind of really going to dictate
how possible it is.
Yeah, without, I say that to caveat as well. I say that, but then also saying, I know we're also, whatever we're going to do, we're going to do it. If that's the experience, if that's what we're going, we're doing that. But I'm aware there's going to be, I think, more of a real give and take compared to the freedom or flexibility we have with her being pre-2, if that makes sense.
I do.
Ooh, English, that was hard sentence.
No, because it's also a big concept that you're explaining. But I do think, like, somehow you will be provided for. I do think once you make your decision of how you want to do it.
Yeah.
If you know, like, sort of not the path of least resistance, but sometimes like you're like, oh, this is the thing I wanted to do, and actually we do have the money, and it does clean us out, but the money is there.
That's what it's there for, right?
Yeah, and I will get paid again. I will work again.
Fingers all crossed.
You just have to trust.
Yeah.
You know?
It's a big part of what we do.
It's scary.
Yeah. There's this pre having a kid, this sense of it'll work, it'll happen, was definitely something that I could sit in way more comfortably.
Yeah, because it's just you.
Yeah, right. So and it's cool. And like when I left my working in the corporate space, I always had that I need to have a job to pay the bills and then to pay for studio time, creativity time, classes, all that kinds of stuff. Great. And it all works. When I left that space, going from a standard.
Oh my God, is that what you did? Is that your journey?
Way back, yeah. So I always knew music and film, I knew I wanted to do would be my life. Fantastic. Then it was like, after education, I didn't want to go to uni. I wanted to go straight into music. My mom nearly murdered me. Absolutely not happening. You're going to university. Great. So uni, I did journalism with media and culture studies and Spanish. So it was like, I knew that writing is a big part of what I do. That is going to facilitate this creative journey. Fantastic. Leave university, journalist. Oh my gosh, that means internships and working for free. Not sustainable in my family home at all.
Not a good culture either.
Right. So then it became a thing of, okay, let me get the highest earning jobs that I can to make sure it takes care of home, and then I can also pay for studio time. I can pay for this, whatever else. So then that became the way of, that's how I live my life. So 9 to 5, home, then the other part of my life kind of starts. Then it kind of reached the point of, okay, I really need to give the creativity space to grow, own space to actually, I need to take a chance on myself completely, because it holds you back. Of course it does.
Can't fully do it
at all. It offers a certain type of stability. Not to say that creative spaces don't offer that, but it just keeps you, I know, frown. It just keeps you safe in a certain way, and you don't have to look outside the box, if that makes sense. Yeah. So then it was like, okay, I'll go.
That's brave. I think people that did it that way around are amazing.
It was
because you know what it's like to get a regular paycheck, whereas those of us have just been like doing it
from the get.
We know, like, it's not going to be regular, but people that have experienced regularity and then choose, I'm so in awe.
Wow, well, thank you. I'm like,
well done.
It was that was a lot, but the way I would feel waking up every morning, I'd never been happier. It just reached that point, and it was also bizarre because I'm also super grateful for what I've had and what I've done. But to wake up in the morning and feel like, just like you're dragging your soul out of bed with you to go somewhere, and the monotony of travel, whether it's on the train or me on the tube, it was just certain sounds were starting to feel like I'm literally marching. It sounds very dramatic, but that is also how I felt. I'm literally marching to my death with everyone, going down the tube, queuing up bit by bit, getting on the train, getting pushed, all that kinds of stuff. So making that change was amazing for my insides, but then you just adjust and all the rest of it. So this idea that it will work. So to have that notion with your kid that, oh yeah, it will work, it's like, it's gotta work.
And you don't want them to be hurt. You don't want them to come to any harm. You don't want to fuck them up. It matters. It really matters. Where you're like, I'll be fine.
Yeah.
You can sit in the uncertainty a bit better when it's yourself, because you're like, even if it doesn't work, I know I'll be all right.
Yeah.
But with your kid, you're like, if anything happens to this kid, even like with stuff at school, I want to flush people's heads down the toilet.
Listen, I'm not even ready for that. I'm not ready for the playgrounds. I'm not ready for her first unkindness or hurts, because right now she's surrounded by such love. I can't even. I've had the odd kid like not give her something, but then I just watch Xena kind of like reassess, like, oh, maybe I didn't ask for it, right? So then she'll say it differently or take her time.
And then
no, they don't. So I'm like, Rach, you can't. They're not your kid. You can't manage the situation. I've got to leave you to.
But then is she able to go, that's not me, that's them?
She kind of then will go off and do something else. Yeah. So I see how she's processing or dealing with that. But I'm just like, I'm not ready. Yeah. I already know I'm not ready. I need to be.
You don't know. Then nothing can get you ready. You just gotta go through
okay, good to know.
You'll be fine.
Great. Yeah.
Sorry. Well, I was like, I could talk about it, but I just think it's not helpful.
Yeah. No,
because also it might not be your experience.
Yeah. Well, we'll see. We'll see. But yeah, so that's that space. No, all the work stuff you've shared, I think, has been really important and really helpful, because I think anyone in a creative space or creating their own business, etc., wanting to have kids, I think this is the stuff that can really kind of stop you from doing certain stuff or slow you down in the sense of how does it work or how does it come together. So everything that you shared thus far has been super helpful. But if there's any like major, this is your like go-to to get you through the day or get you through the job or get you through the auditions when you're looking after life, let me know. What are they?
Well, I'm really worried now that I've just been really negative about my experiences of being a parent and working.
It is, but it's also life. It is what it is. Some things are great, some things not.
It has also been, it's just been a freaking challenge.
Yeah.
But I suppose it ties into what I was telling you about I'm trying to develop as a person anyway.
Yeah.
Of being better at identifying my needs and having them met. And so I think asking for what I need.
Yeah.
Really asking for what I need. I'm trying not to be scared.
Okay.
If people are like, no, sorry, we're just going to choose someone else.
Okay.
And I think because my come up at work has been such a sort of slow burn and it's been such a hustle, like to finally be like getting the kind of jobs I've been dreaming about.
Yeah.
I don't want to be a problem.
Yeah. And that's,
you know,
I do a deep breath. Yeah.
And so I think, but also just going, you're not a problem.
And it's okay.
You have a daughter. And I think it's hard for people to understand that I am her main caregiver.
Yeah, okay.
So when I'm like, I have a daughter, I need this, you can feel them being a bit like, can't your partner do that? And
no, they can't. This is what I'm asking for.
This is what I'm working with. This hand and this hand.
That's it. So you bring your hand in your hand and we can make something.
Please. But I mean, her grandparents are amazing. But that's, I think awesome. Like asking for what you need. It sounds so basic, but I think it's a challenge for me.
Yeah, and I don't think it's basic. I think it's a good reminder, as you've just said. It's hard to ask for it. It's hard to be vulnerable. It's hard to be open. It's also hard to ask sometimes. So I think that's a great tip, reminder for people to have. Like, ask for the help that you need. Because what if the person can help you? Amazing.
Yeah.
You know?
And also, I tend to kind of, in a way, overshare with production, with like what is actually, what my needs are, what my situation is.
Yeah.
So that they can also see, because you're talking to problem solvers here.
Yeah, that's a good way to look at it actually.
A lot of the time, they can suggest a thing that didn't even cross my mind was possible. So they can be like, oh, well, would it be helpful if we picked you up at this time and on your way to set, we dropped your daughter off at school? Would that help? And I'm like, yes, that would really help me. Yeah. That would really help me. Or they can say, would you like, do you know what I mean? They can just plot these little things in. Yeah. So I am a bit like, this is my name. I was born on this day. I'm 43. This is what I like for breakfast. You know what I mean? I'm like, I'm going to tell you everything. Yeah. This is what I'm dealing with. Yeah. And sometimes, like on this last job, we had a couple of second ADs on it. And the couple of, they were just, Nick was amazing. Yeah. And Natasha. Yeah. They were just so, and then it turns out Nick's just had a baby. And so you could tell that he was really like,
gets it.
Whatever you need. Whatever you need. And every time I saw him, he was like, how's your daughter? Oh. You know?
Yeah. And that's it.
So like, let people in, I suppose.
Yeah. So yeah, guys, reminder, Talk to people.
Yeah.
Talk to them.
Don't wait till you've had a breakdown.
Yeah.
Like, what's wrong? You're like this, and they're like, shit. Yeah, I would have a breakdown too.
But yeah, no, that's amazing tips and feedback. I mean, I'm gonna need you back on the podcast again because I already know that there's so much more we didn't talk about.
I know, I'm such a waffler as well.
Sorry, this is not waffling at all, honestly. So I'm just gonna have to schedule that in with you. But
yeah, I would love that.
Thank you so much for your time today.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, it's been great.